I bring the greetings of the school community in this very unusual time for the latest community update. This is an opportunity for me to make you aware of what's been going on after a rolling series of announcements. I'm pretty sure that as soon as you see my name come up on any announcement, it's likely to be bad news. But we just want to make you aware of what's going on. And I've got with me the school captains here today to share a little bit about the students' point of view about what's also happening inside the world of Year 12 and the world of all of our students. We have entered a new phase of this coronavirus situation. Clearly, the impact of the coronavirus is extending now across countries and across systems. Things are not as they were even just a few days ago. The response has been now changing. The advice that we've been receiving from government is about increased social distances, and they've been using terms like shutdown. Clearly that has impacted schools. We need to be concerned about social isolation in schools, but yet still be able to provide some of the basic opportunities that schools enable for students to continue with their learning. Schools are closing in numerous countries. Barker hasn't used the language of school closure, but we are progressing to online. From tomorrow, students will be learning online for the rest of this term. We don't know how much longer it will last beyond this term, but it's likely that it's going to last some time. Yet we don't need to panic about how long this is going to last. We will be gradualising the extent of which materials are available online and learning new protocols as we go. You'll see more about this in the coming days. The online learning experience cannot be exactly the same as school experience. Clearly we'll be lacking some of the social interaction that normally happens inside schools, but we are going to be building over the next couple of days a few changes that will help students to experience the best of both worlds, best of the Barker access, but also the best of what an online learning delivery enables. I thought today it'd be worth hearing a little bit from our Year 12s. We've got our 4 school captains with us, and I'm going to actually ask them a question now. Okay, what's it like? What's it been like these last few days? What's happening inside the world of Year 12 and how are people coping?
So some of us today are actually feeling quite relieved that we have the prospect of moving our English back a little bit. So there might be a chance to get some more revision done before then.
So you had an English assessment coming
We have
up
an English assessment, yeah.
On Wednesday. Yeah. And are they thinking about moving that to online?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's possible.
And that's going to be quite a different experience for you. How do people feel about that?
Well, there's definitely an element of uncertainty, but we trust the school and what they're doing, and we know that we'll be best prepared. So it's business as usual. Yeah.
I think we're really appreciative of all that the teachers have done for us. We just had class, and my teacher took our class through step by step how we're going to be able to communicate with her while we're at home. And even though we know that we're going to be learning in a different way, we're just going to try to keep going at it as normal. Yeah, we're really grateful for the teachers for all that they've done, and yeah, there's been the Teams with Office 365 that's been set up so that we can have video chats with our teacher and ask them questions. So even though we'll be at home, there'll still be that communication with teachers, which is going to be really helpful, I think, in the coming weeks.
Thanks, Pippi. You make a good point. So we are going to be using Canvas, OneNote and Teams as the learning platform, especially for our secondary school. For our younger children, we use Seesaw, which is a more age-appropriate learning management system, and we think that will work well. Both of you are involved a lot in the music program and the practical and performance programs. How do people feel about how that's progressing under this changed arrangement?
People are feeling like a little bit overwhelmed, but also like excited for what it may bring. So we have a performance assessment coming up in a couple of weeks for music as a subject, and that's potentially been moved to a different form, or they're going to try and work out other ways of coming around that. But otherwise, people are just trying to go on as usual. I know in bands we're trying to submit online practice videos and fun online practicing, which is really cool. And I think it's just a new era of learning, especially in music and drama and the arts.
One of the things that's been impressing me is how resourceful people have been. Like, they've tried new things as a consequence. But I've also noticed some new things going on around the playground. What's happening?
Sort of despite these recent events, we've tried to come together as a year group and to really appreciate the time that we have together. So at recess we had, I think, a handball comp, was it? A few students, yeah. And we've got official handball captains now, so that's it's a big deal.
And we had a
Oh yes.
yeah. We should get them like a badge. And,
yeah. Working to get there.
That was the first boys, first girls touch last week. So that was a really good experience. Everyone sort of sitting around the oval. And then lots of events like that happening around the place, just coming together and appreciating each other's company.
And we'll miss some of that, but somehow or other we're going to try to manage that, particularly over the next 2 weeks, virtually. But of course the school isn't closed down. Students can come and go and have been. The school will continue to be open for families who can't actually provide home care where that's necessary. And of course if students have work that they need to cover here, the teachers will be here teaching online, but largely from Barker. So we're trying to get the best of both worlds over these next 2 weeks until we enter the Easter break. So we had an online learning day the other day, as you know. We did some research on the basis of that, and some of the students were sharing that they got a bit fatigued. The amount of time on the screen, sitting passively for the day, much longer than they would normally do at school, where they're running around and interacting and moving from classroom to classroom. So it's a bit different. Is there any advice that you would give to them about how do they manage their fatigue and their energy levels while being on screen for online learning?
I think my advice would be probably take frequent breaks. I remember when I was in year 6, when we just gotten the iPads, I felt a bit fatigued as well. But that's part of the benefit of being at school, is that you have your breaks. So sometimes at home you might actually forget about that. So I think it's important to probably go outside and stretch maybe.
Yeah, as with everything that's going on, I think that it will take some getting used to, and it's something that we've just kind of got to go with the flow and see how we go. And yeah, taking frequent breaks I think is the key, probably between our teachers have encouraged us to still follow our normal timetable. And so I think even just between subjects or study breaks, get up, have a walk around, go outside if you can. And I think that's really the key to make sure that you're not stuck at your laptop all day. Yeah.
So we're mindful of the need to moderate screen time, but access all the resources that will be placed before us. Of course, the school is staying open. If people need to send their children here, we very much welcome to see them. Our counselling staff and support staff have asked me to remind you that counselling services continue to be available and have not changed. The school is not shutting down as such. We're trying to manage the social distance question that arises from this current challenge that we have. The same might also be said for careers advice for our older students, where this is becoming very important. We are also working on trying to promote online social interaction in a positive way through our classrooms, and you'll notice some of the protocols that are emerging about this over the next couple of days. Can I just gently say this as we close this community update with a little bit of magic, I hope. We are looking at trying to calmly enter a new phase. Whilst there are causes for concern, these are serious issues facing the nation. A once-in-a-century challenge is before us. We want to adopt a calm and a measured approach, not rushing everything in the first day, but introducing things gently over time, noting that this may well have some extended duration. We also want to be confident in each other, care for each other and look out for each other, check in on each other's well-being from time to time. But despite the fact that we're distant from each other, Barker remains a community, and that community remains cherished and precious to us. The fact that we're separate from each other physically does not mean that we're separate from each other spiritually or emotionally. We continue to belong to a community together, a community of love and care and grace and goodness, characterized by kindness and a sense of hope. That's what we want to live out in these challenging and difficult circumstances. And as the old saying is, all we need is love.
I need